Hey, this is Marcus.
This is Maurice, and this is Don't Believe the Hype.
The good, the bad, the ugly in sports. Kicking off the show, everyone. First off, before we get into week 3, welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Man, you had me solo, and I had to go basically drag Jordan off the street and bring him in here.
I mean, and, I like to think Jordan. He did a good job, and
Absolutely
filling in. And I hope he can come to the show again, and we could talk, collectively. I had a back injury. I wasn't playing football, but I just woke up and my back was.
He was weight training.
Right. I was.
Go ahead and tell people he was weight training, huh?
Right. So I was day to day. I came down to the studio to do the show, but game time decision, and
you was doubtful, but now you've been upgraded and activated off of the disabled list.
Yes, he picked me up off of waivers. I feel great.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. So, listen, week 3, another week in the books in the NFL, and for your fantasy teams out there.
Hopefully, some wins.
Oh, absolutely. For me, I went 2-1.
I went 3-0.
All right.
I went 3-0.
All right. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm not trying to. Outdo you, but I did go 3-0.
All right. Well, I had Marvin Jones on the teams that I did win on.
Oh, good.
I was able to get Marvin Jones, and he performed, had a 200-yard receiving day. Helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, the team that I did I caught an L on. I had Ryan Fitzpatrick as my starting quarterback.
Congratulations.
Who threw not one,
not
two, not 3,
4 or 5.
4. Shout out to LeBron for trademark. Not 1,
right.
Not 2. He threw 6 interceptions against Kansas City.
And if you played Ryan Fitzpatrick, my condolences to you as well. So that was obviously a player that wasn't an impact player, obviously. For me, my impact player was actually a defense, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. All 3 of my leagues that I'm in, I have that defense. I felt really strongly about the defense coming into the season. Mike Zimmer is a heck of a coach, defensive oriented head coach, and they had the right players and right personnel on the team. And also, it's that smash mouth team. Well, it was that smash mouth team with AP hogging a ton of carries, but we'll get to that later because he's out. But
and Cam Newton took a beating.
I
believe he got sacked around 7 to 8 times.
It was a drubbing.
Yeah,
it was 8 sacks.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was ugly.
Yeah.
Every game. Yeah.
Going back to Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing not 1 but 6 interceptions.
Right.
I kind of use the analogy of like if you go to like Dunkin' Donuts and you ask for 6 donuts.
Right.
So if y'all so when y'all go to work, before y'all go to work, go to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever donut spot you go to.
Right. Yeah.
Ask for 6 donuts. Slowly eat them one by one, and after you eat each individual donut, think to yourself, "Hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick threw an interception." Then eat the second one. Hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick threw a second interception. And then when you finally finish 6 donuts,
if that's possible,
if that's even possible,
right.
Because I didn't think 6 interceptions was possible. They yank you after like 4 of them.
Well, how many? Carson Palmer in the AFC playoffs last year was like 5 maybe.
Oh yeah. And even against Buffalo.
Yeah. So
he was getting close. He tried to one up Fitzpatrick, but he ran out of time.
Right. Exactly. That was an ugly game too. I was kind of surprised that Buffalo won without Sammy Watkins.
Right.
But LaShawn McCoy, I mean, he ran all over them. I mean, that was probably one of the best games he's had since he's been with Buffalo. Last year, he really got off to a slow start there, and Carlos Williams did a lot of handcuffing, a lot of touchdown vulturing for them. But yeah, he looked good. I felt coming into the season that he was going to be a touch. Someone going to get a lot of touches, touchdown as well.
Right.
But yeah, I like him, and I really was surprised. Any other surprises for you?
The fact that Atlanta didn't score 70 against New Orleans.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
I was surprised about that.
That was a bomb burner. Yeah.
I think Jamal Anderson came back and scored a rushing touchdown.
You're right.
Tevin Coleman had 3 of them.
Right.
Freeman had 2.
And Freeman had 200 total
All purpose, yeah.
All right. So if you think about it, and so looking ahead, okay, the New Orleans Saints defense has been atrocious. But if you just kind of dissect what they did, that Atlanta scored that many points, and Julio Jones only had 1 catch.
Right.
So Julio Jones
which was impressive.
Right. He is the best receiver on that team. He's probably the second best receiver in the league. And he had 1 catch, and they still scored 45 points?
Right.
45 points. But from the running game, like Marcus said, the running back Tevin Coleman had over 100 all-purpose yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Devontae Freeman, my guy, Peanut Butter Jelly Project, I told you, had over 200 all-purpose yards. And as a fantasy owner, you've had that struggle early in the season. Who do I play? And me and Marcus had the conversation Sunday. I was saying I was going to play Coleman, and you ended up playing Freeman.
Right.
Now, if we collectively put our minds together,
right.
we'd have
we
been
formed
great.
like Voltron and was like, hey,
Right.
let's just take both of them.
Right.
We'd probably be, well off.
Yeah. Maybe not doing the show this week, but
Right,
hey.
right. Or we'd probably be doing the show from an island we can't even pronounce.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
man. Yeah.
But it's a marathon. It's only week 3.
Right.
So if your team didn't do as well as you had hoped it would do, again, even if you're 0-3, there's still opportunity for you to possibly pick up some players over the waiver wire, make some trades, or just right the ship. It's still early in the season, and that's one thing I noticed, that people start to panic after week 2, week 3. Oh, I got to trade Gurley.
Right.
I got to do. No, you don't.
You still have 10 more weeks to get your teams right.
Exactly. So have 10 more weeks, and then if you play daily, every week is a new season. So
Just forget it and start over.
Exactly. Just reset it.
Yeah. Well. Also, shout out to the Net that defeated Odell Beckham Jr. by a unanimous decision. Spazzing out as usual, throwing a tantrum. Hit the net. The Net said, "Nah, not today, player."
Yeah. So right.
He decided to fight back.
So it wasn't Josh Norman that we thought was going to be the problem.
It was actually the Net.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Surprising. So coming up on the show, we breaking it down into quarters. First quarter was a recap of week 3.
Right.
Second, we'll go into significant injuries
Right.
thus far in the league. Third quarter will also be a waiver watch. Since a lot of season-ending injuries, players being put on short-term IR, you're going to need to kind of cover yourself. So we'll dip into the waiver wire, and we'll finish out with building your lineup for this coming week.
Exactly. So,
Also, there'll be a special treat at the end where we'll kind of talk about players that we just won't ever pick on our teams ever again. I call them flight risk.
Yeah, the untouchables.
Right.
So this is wrapping up quarter 1. As Marcus said, you definitely want to stay around for quarter 2, because if you've been bit by the injury bug, you want to make sure. We're going to talk about those players, but you also want to make sure that you're targeting the right players for the waiver watch that you will need to not pick up just to replace them, but also to make sure that you have the right players in place to make that playoff run, the soon-to-becoming playoff run. So, with that being said, I'm Maurice.
I'm Marcus, and this is Don't Believe the Hype. Stick with us.
Or you can believe it. Welcome back. And as we go into the second quarter, we're going to talk about some impactful injuries. No need to really talk about the quarterback carousel known as the Cleveland Browns, but what injuries stood out to you last weekend early on in the season?
Well, it would have to be Dez. As of now, as it impacts a fantasy team now. Of course, we know RG3 is out. Terrell Pryor's playing every single position. They asked him to.
Yeah.
AP, he's out. Jared McKinnon, Matt Asiata are stepping in trying to fill his void. But for me, it's Dez because he is pretty much their one receiver that they can rely upon. Of course, Dak is now, trusting Cole Beasley a lot more.
Right, yeah.
But you need Dez to move the chains. Beasley can do all the underneath things.
Right.
You need him out there at least as a presence.
I agree.
Also, Jeremy Langford, the running back from the Bears, being hurt.
Yeah.
But that kind of works out for them because they weren't too big on him anyway. They didn't really, he wasn't really practicing.
Right.
Pretty well. So Jordan Howard stepped in against the Cowboys and had a pretty good game.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
But for me, it would have to be Dez because what he means to the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would agree what he means to the Cowboys, and even for a young quarterback like Dak Prescott, you can see from week one how he was a game manager, and you saw in your law last week. He really, and again, I of course it definitely had to do with the Bears defense, but you got to see him be more comfortable in that offense. Des got a touchdown, and he was able to spread the ball a little bit around, a little bit more. So hey, yeah, I definitely can agree with Des. I'm definitely hurting over AP. I had him in one of my leagues. That's a backfield that you don't want to own, in my opinion. But our next segment, I think we'll kind of talk about those replacement players, so to speak. Who you want to get in your lineup. As we move forward in the season.
Coming up next, as we slide into the third quarter, as we talked about, injuries take a toll on not only the NFL teams, but your fantasy team. So we'll go through the waiver wire to figure out exactly how you can replace those players.
Right.
Welcome back, everyone. So you're probably out there wondering, at this point in time, my team is decimated by injuries.
Right.
My waiver priority is so high up that I don't even have a chance to get who I want that I place a claim on. But in the event that you have a low number and you're able to get whoever you want, pretty much at this point in time, I'm gonna give you, and Maurice is gonna give you a couple names to look out for should they still be out there at this point. Because by now, week 3, everybody's pretty hip to the injury report and priority and waiver claims and things like that. So I have Jordan Howard, the running back from the Chicago Bears, replacing Jeremy Langford and forgot the other, Kadeem Curry. He's hurt, right? He hadn't even really touched the field like that. Right. And also Christine Michael, the running back from the Seahawks, if he's still out there.
I
doubt it.
He has to be. Yeah, it has to be like a 18 league.
Right.
Yeah, if he's out there.
And finally, Charles Sims. Doug Martin was out in week 2 with a hamstring, which is why we didn't mention him in the second quarter.
Right. Well, what about anyone for the Giants? Spark interest with Shaven Ring being out for the year.
Well, Rashard Jennings is still the bell cow, but he's also been plagued by a thumb injury.
Right.
So we have Paul Perkins, the rookie from UCLA, and Orleans Darkwa.
Okay.
The journeyman found his way onto the Giants.
Yeah, he's been on there since last year, right?
Had a fairly decent game last week, replacing Shane Vereen.
He did. I mean, and those are good players. I definitely wouldn't go against them. If for some reason, somehow Terrell Pryor's available, pick him up. I mean, I don't think I really need to go
some reason.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Some small miracle in life. I don't really need to go into too much detail. I'll just tell you this. They were on their third quarterback it's only week 3. They're on their third quarterback. Terrell Pryor had an amazing chemistry with Cody Kessler last week.
Right.
8 catches, 140 yards. He threw a couple of passes. He ran for a touchdown, and he sold hot dogs in the stands on halftime. What more can you ask for from a player? I was thoroughly impressed. Week 1, he had a decent game. Week 2, he fell off a bit. I would say get him now. We know Josh Gordon will be coming off of suspension pretty soon. You could start him definitely week 4, must start. And when Josh Gordon comes back, he still can start as well. So, look, we had to get right to the point. We told you who was hurt. We told you need to pick up. And we're going to go ahead and end this session pretty quickly. Thanks for your time. This is Don't Believe It. Hey guys, for the fourth quarter, we have something special for you. special segment where me and Marcus decided we want to actually take one of the DFS sites and we're going to put it line up together. So make sure you stay tuned. We're done.